the truth.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Market Report. It is Friday, January 16th. It's Friday. It is here. And as the thumbnail says, CryptoFace said, we are here on that horrible cycle chart. Guys, we're going to break down, is he right? It's in line with what we've been talking about here, but, I don't like confirmation bias, so we're going to look and see if this matches up. And then also, we got some stuff from Piano Matter B that we're going to talk about today, talking about the Kager. What is a kegger? No, it's not a party. It's not a party. We're not gonna drink a lot of beer. It's actually it's gonna end your party if it happens the way that it's laid out there. We're gonna talk about the kegger. We're gonna talk about decaying returns every cycle and what we could be looking at for 2029. Today we're gonna do a full cycle breakdown on Bitcoin. Plus, we got to talk about what happened with Coinbase CEO. We talked about it yesterday. Got an article on it today to take a look at, and a whole lot more. Guys, you know what time it is. Class is in session. Let's get it. Shout out to everybody that's joining us right now. We are not simulcasting on X today. Right as I hit the go live button, it said, no, sir. No X for you today. So whatever, X, whatever, do your thing. But hey, if you're here watching this on YouTube, I appreciate it. Shout out to all the alumni in the chat right now. Today's show, as always, guys, brought to you by Chart Prime, the best indicator suite in the business. Let's go ahead and bring up, though, the best co-host in the business. It's OC Guy. What's up, bro?
Not much. Doing fantastic.
And he wasn't muted. Oh, my goodness. This Friday is warming up great already. Let's go. So,
Nothing
OC.
can wrong go today.
So, OC. What happened with your short trade, man? How's it going? Let's get on your chart. Let's take a look at that right out the gate. Let's talk about Bitcoin short that you set up. I think it was Bitcoin, right? That's what you did that on?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you got for us, man? Show us that trade and let's get into the news.
Absolutely. So as you guys can see, I actually front run this short. In fact, I should have entered somewhere around this area, around 96. 483k, but I front run it a little bit as I see this oscillator coming out of my threshold zone. And just in case you were wondering, how do I get that threshold zone? It's inside of style all the way down, and then you set your bullish and bearish control lines at negative 40, 95 and positive 95. That gives you this threshold area. So as soon as I see this coming down out of it, right, as we were just dropping out, and you can see it right there, I decided to jump in with that short, and that's also because we were scrapping the surface of the next order block right up in here, the next big resistances, and well, I decided to go with short. So you follow just basically the breakout retest. Well, we have a breakout on the trend line, the retest of the trend line, that's your entry, and then a continuation downwards. Right now at this point, let's just bring up my latest picture in here, and you can see that I am at a 5x, not much. I mentioned I'm not going to be gambling this, but I'm going to be trying to take advantage of maybe a bull flag, maybe a short-term retracement into what could be a bigger retracement. So I'm not the only thing I'm going to be doing is moving my stop to entry, which I have already done. So the point of this is not being able to lose, right? I'm cutting out the losing factor in here. And well, you can see at 9.41 and entry point and the time of exit right now. Let me bring that up. Right now it's just a tear bit higher. It's at 11.36% gains, 5x, not much, but keeping track on how this could go. Very quickly, I'm looking here at a possible bullish flag. Now it's forming, and remember that at this point, or since before, we're looking for that flip of the ribbon. So we're getting closer to a possible bounce if we can find the support. And guess where the closest support is at? Right between the smart money entry and the big area of resistance in here, which also marks the top or the bottom of our entry zone and the top of our previous range right here. So we have a lot of confluence somewhere around 94,000, the 94,000 area. So that's what I'm going to be taking a big chunk of those profits and then letting it run in case this is a confirmation of the bear market, or just cutting it out as it bounces back up and I had switched for a long.
Do me a favor. Take off that Mexican spaghetti on that chart up there. And then I want you to throw on your daily chart and look at your dynamic reactor. And you tell me if you should hold this trade or not.
Let me see, and I believe I should. Oh yeah, let's go. Actually, I was looking at that back in the day when you mentioned we're getting to, what was it? The pi cycle line, and I
No,
was saying,
no,
oh,
the
that's
bull
a
market
dynamic
support
reactor.
band.
The bull market support band.
The
There
daily
you go. Yeah.
dynamic reactor, the bull market support band, the 52-week SMA. When I look at that, you're looking at it on that 4-hour. This is why you zoom out sometimes, guys, because OC is about to close this trade. But if I look at this on the daily right now, and I see that we already had a previous rejection back before on here several times. It was resistance back in the day there. Back. You're good. Yep, back there. Yep. All that rejection there. OC retest on the break, and then we get our sell indicator from Chart Prime. And now we've come up and gotten a rejection again off of that dynamic reactor. Now, I think that this is setting up for lower high. And that's what I'm seeing there. So, because on the weekly, this would be a retest that we've seen every cycle. So, yeah, I just wanted to point that out. I think you might want to close part of that trade on take profit and let the other run. And just move your stop loss, bro, because I think that thing's going to continue on. Just my opinion. Let's go jump in and take a look at the chat here, see who all we got in the chat today. We got JR's in here with us. Crypto Princess, how you doing, lady? Appreciate you being here. Wix Wi-Fi 89 in the house. She's 2Dub. Shout out to 2Dub. Alexander GR Mod Queen Loco for Crypto is in here. Mark Dutch is in here. The Dirty Dutchman talking about the fart of crypto. JR. Be nice to JR now, man. JR's my trader, and he's good at it. So who else we got in here? We've got Loco for Crypto. I already gave you a shout out. You get 2 of them today. Robert Mulligan joining us. Harp. Melissa One Love. Here you go. Hearts for Melissa One Love. There you go. Lots of love. Also, we got Jesse Gullick in here. DDT, he's doing things. Darren is doing things. CJ Taylor, my brother. And I think that's about it in here. I think so. I think I got everyone. Crunk. Nope, I got Crunk in here. I don't want to forget you, Crunk. I'm sorry. And XYZ, ZYX. Many more. You guys, I appreciate you guys joining us. We got 40 people watching right now. And I appreciate every single one of you guys. Let's go jump in on what I'm watching on the Bitcoin chart, OC. And we'll just talk real fast about it because on the high time frame, there we go. High time frame, guys, we're getting the rejection exactly where we put our red box at. I said, if we come up off of our 100, likely going to come to this box. Watch for rejection somewhere in that box. I actually thought, though, honestly, that it would push a little bit deeper into the box. I was looking at like 1016. No, we couldn't even get past that 98,000 mark. Hitting that daily dynamic reactor, as you saw on OC's chart, and just crushing dreams. Of course, everyone on Twitter was talking about $1 million Bitcoin. But right now, what I'm watching on this pullback is, guys, first line of in the sand of support, 618 at 94,237. Now, here's one caveat. I do think that we could still go higher in our red box that we had here. Hit that 101.6 area, 102 area. What would that look like on the 4-hour? That would be us holding the 618 and getting a bounce here, previous level of resistance, and now it's support, and that sets us up for another high. So given what we're seeing on the current price action, that is a possibility. But I do want to point out on the 4-hour right now, the volume matrix has started to curve down. Money flow has gotten flat. Oscillator ribbon is coming down, and we did get the VWAP overbought. So the beer's getting flat. The air's getting hot. The beer's getting flat. Looking for a girl. I ran into a guy. So there you go. There's a song for you, Alexandra G. Run with it, lady. Let's go get in on the news and talk about what we're seeing on the news side today, because we do have some things that we got to go over in here. Not a whole lot of headlines, not a whole lot going on the economic data side, but we do have some metrics and stuff to go over. So let's go do some business on the news side. Looking at crypto risk indicators right now, guys. Actually, into the Cryptoverse metrics, I should say. Crypto market cap, total crypto market cap coming in right now, $3.227 trillion. The trend line on this sitting at about 4.705 trillion, currently undervalued about 31.4% from the fair value of the crypto market cap. Current Bitcoin risk band sitting at 43.2%. And then our Bitcoin dominance with stablecoin sitting at 58.91, without stablecoin 64.87. I think a lot of people are moving into some alts, thinking that if we do get this bounce, the alts are going to pump hard. And if we do get a bounce, they will pump hard. I just want to people to be prepared either way. So I think right now I'm like 60-40 if we'll hold that golden pocket we showed. Looking at the liquidation heat map in the past 24 hours, according to CoinGlass data, in the past 24 hours, 109,409 traders got liquidated. Total liquidations coming in at $221.43 million. The largest single liquidation order happened on Hyperliquid as a Bitcoin trade for a cool $5.1 million. Let's go take a look at the fear and greed index today, sitting in neutral. We're out of greed. We were in fear forever. We went to greed yesterday. Today we're in neutral at 49 on our fear and greed index. Hey, look, check this out, though. Amazing. This is nothing to do with crypto, but it's a chart. We'll talk about it. Monthly U.S. fentanyl deaths. Look at that. Starting right here, 2024. Look at that drop. I don't know what happened in 2024 that could have caused fentanyl deaths to drop like that. Maybe a lack of availability on fentanyl. Maybe, the source being attacked and looked at from, law enforcement side. Who knows? We'll just leave that out there for you guys to know. Also, we talked about the Insurrection Act yesterday, guys, about the Trump threatening to use it. Some fun facts. The Insurrection Act has been invoked 30 times by 17 different presidents. In fact, 37% of American presidents have invoked the Insurrection Act. I did not know that. It was invoked to deal with rebellions and uprisings. What are rebellions and uprisings? Examples. Armed groups openly defy federal law. State or local authorities could not or would not enforce federal law. Violence or organized resistance threatened the authority of the federal government. Courts were blocked. Taxes couldn't be collected, or officials were attacked. Look, I just described Minnesota. We'll leave that there too. Tomorrow, which is today, in an unprecedented move, President Trump expected to announce an emergency power auction that would force technology giants to pay for new power plants. We talked about this earlier in the week, that Microsoft was already moving toward that direction. And then the nation's largest grid operator, PJM, will be leading the initiative with Trump. The initiative is expected to construct $15 billion worth of new power plants. And as we have stated before, this year will be largely about affordability of power ahead of the midterm elections. The ongoing electricity crisis we are facing due to the AI data center demand will only get worse without intervention. Most recently, the average U.S. retail price for electricity went up by 7.4% in September to a record 18.07 cents per kilowatt hour. This week, Trump said, "I never want Americans to pay higher electricity bills because of data centers." And I don't think we should. Absolutely do not think we should. I think that if they're going to, if they need these data centers so that they can become, trillion-dollar companies instead of billion-dollar companies, and they're making profits, we see it on the earnings. We know what they make. It's not like it's not public record. Why in the hell are we paying for your electricity to make more money? That's on you guys. And I'm glad to see that somebody is going after those companies and making them pay that, carry that bill. That's your tab, man, not mine. You guys are like a bunch of people that said, "Hey, yeah, let's go to lunch." And you're like, "Okay, cool, we'll go to lunch." And you get there because they invited you to lunch, and then they walk off and leave the entire bill on the table for you. Yeah, screw you guys. Also, as Coinbase CEO says, banks are trying to kill their competition with the crypto market structure legislation, aka the Clarity Act. Crypto companies should be allowed to compete and offer loans just like banks. This is coming from Brian Armstrong.
The high-level principle here
is
that we can't really have banks come in and try to kill their competition at the expense of the American consumer, right? People in America should be able to earn more money on their money. I think stablecoins are an opportunity for banks. They should be able to build great product lines with this. It's an opportunity for crypto companies. Congress and the laws that get passed, they should really create a level playing field and say, this is allowed, this is not allowed. Now, all American companies, go compete, try to build the best products and services. That's great. What's not great is if the banks can put their thumb on the scale to try to kill some of their competition, and they only pay about, 14 basis points on the average savings account. Consumers should be able to earn 3.8% on their stablecoin rewards. And so we're going to keep fighting for our customers' rights and the 52 million Americans who use crypto every day.
I mean, what would you say to the argument that banks have put forward that because of the role they play in the economy, the loans that they make, if they do wind up seeing billions of dollars, as some have estimated would happen going from banks to stablecoin, they say that could have a big impact on the economy. What's your response to that?
Yeah, well, banks don't have a monopoly on lending money. Actually, crypto is doing quite well in this area as well, and crypto is a technology to update all parts of the financial system, whether it's lending, capital formation, et cetera. So I think banks do play an important role in the economy and making these loans. Crypto should be allowed to do similar types of activity. We're not engaged in fractional reserve lending. That's an important point, by the way, because the bank license, what that really allows you to do is fractional reserve.
Print
the banks
money.
don't have all of your money
Allows
there.
them to print money.
That's why there's so much oversight, and you can have these runs on the bank. Stablecoins have 100% reserve, right? And they're all the assets now post-Genius are held in this short-term U.S. Treasuries. So in my view, it's actually a safer place to store your money, and crypto companies should be allowed to compete and offer loans just like banks.
So yeah, he's fighting back. The banks pushing against that bill and trying to get those changes in. But as Alexander G said, this is this morning off of Piano Matter B show. But the banks. Yes, exactly, Alexandra. That is it. You're on it. What else we got in here? That's it for X marks the spot.
Principle here is that we can't really have.
You can't keep talking, man. This guy likes to talk. All right, let's take a look at what we have going on here with the TradFi today. Dow Jones, S&P, NASDAQ, all down today. S&P and the NASDAQ about flat, 0.08, 0.05. Dow Jones down about 0.2%. The Russell 2K up about 4.4% there. Volatility index is rising, sitting almost at 16. If we hit 17, expect more sell-off today, guys. Looking at the precious metals, heavy metals getting a little bit lighter today. Gold is down 0.4%. Silver is down 4.28%. Copper is down 2.9%. Platinum down 4.59%. And palladium down 4.12%. And oil is making a rebound, closing back in on $60 a barrel. You can still, though, by the way, you can still buy a whole barrel of oil for less than 1 ounce of the of silver. So there is that going for us. How are we looking on the crypto bubbles? Quite a bit of red here on the daily. Bitcoin currently down 1.3%. Ethereum is down 1.5%. BNB down 1%. XRP down 2.4%. And rounding out top 5 of the cryptos, because we don't count Tether, Solana down 0.7%. Other big movers, Dogecoin's down 4%. Cardano's down 4%, back to 38 cents. Monero slightly up, but returning some of those gains on the hourly here, up 0.7% on the daily. 2.4% for Chainlink. Let's see, Zcash, man, taking a punch to the gut, down 6.8% today. Avalanche is down 3.7%, rounding out the top 20 there on the bubbles. Looking at today's economic data that was dropped this morning, we got, let's see here, we got industrial production. It was expected to be higher, expected to be down 0.1, 0.3. Actually came in flat and neutral. Is this a revision? This is a revision. It went from 0.2 to 0.4 on revision for the previous month, now month over month at 0.4, static with what it was last month. Nothing to write home to mom about there. Industrial production, looking at that year over year, it is down slightly. Manufacturing production month over month came in a little bit lower on the year over year, came in lower also. So we're seeing industrial production and manufacturing production both moving to the downside today, showing some weakness in the economy pillars. Now, what about a rate cut? We're going to get one of those. 95% chance that next week on the 28th, actually it's 2 weeks from now, because the 24th is Saturday, and I go on my cruise that day. So that would be the following Wednesday. While I'm out at sea, 95% chance that we do not get a rate cut in January. Matter of fact, it looks like we're not going to get one until June. That's when we actually have a higher likely percentage of a rate cut. April, nope. March, nope. Nothing in February. That means probably staying this way until Jerome Powell is out of that seat. So Trump is talking, dump it. Trump is the new Powell. It's true. Piper always gets the references. I try to, Dub. I try. Coinbase CEO says key crypto vote can be rescheduled after the 11th hour cancellation. So, again, this is on that Clarity Act, and they are fighting back hard. A lot of people supporting the banks. Guys, I will say this. If the banks get where crypto exchanges cannot offer yields, interest earning, we'll just call it what it is. It's earning interest on your USDC stable coins, whatever in their exchange. If they can't offer you interest earning yield, but the bank still can, then you know who your politicians work for. And it is not you, the people. It's them, the banks, okay? And remember, take a look at it. Find out who was actually voting to put that stuff in and writing that stuff into the bill. Do the research on it, and remember them on voting day. Because in my opinion, if your greatest interest as a politician is to the banks and not your constituents, then you don't belong in your seat and you should be removed. It's we the people, not we the financial institutions. So go screw yourself. Blockchain Report, $10 super chat said, "Hey Piper, sent you a DM on Twitter about Canton Network and the token. Me and Veteran Crypto are interviewing the COO next week. Love the show. Appreciate you, man. I'll check that out and we'll take a look at that, and I will make sure I share that out next week once I see what it is. That is awesome, dude, and I appreciate the $10 super chat. Shout out to Blockchain Report. That is crushing it. I love it. I'm very interested to see what's going on with the Canton Network, because from what I understood originally, the Canton Network was not supposed to be a price gaining token. It was supposed to burn and mint to maintain some type of stable pricing for companies to be able to project their cost and expenses on using the network. But yeah, I'm very interested because it's looking like that is not the case, despite its original form and function. So, but yeah, all about checking that out, man. I appreciate you. Guys, let's talk about this. Let's bring this up here, and we'll start getting OC up in this piece with us here. If it opens for me, can you open for me? There we go. Thank you. And OC, over to you, man. Check it out. This is a post from CryptoFace. He said, "We are here." And you guys have seen the psychology of the market cycle, euphoria. The big question that everyone's asking is, where's the euphoria? Because they don't feel like they had it. Although, if you actually look at the chart, it was still a pretty good return year in Bitcoin. It just wasn't for the altcoins. And I think that because we didn't have parabolic blow-off tops on altcoins, we didn't have euphoria. You look at the actual growth in the CAGR, which we're going to talk about here in a few minutes also, and see how that price action reacted for Bitcoin. We had a pretty good running move, and that could be. It smells a little bit like euphoria. But when people look at the alts, no, of course they did not. But I think that a lot of that has to do with the broad blanket of altcoins that were out there. They like 11.5 million. I showed this yesterday. 11.5 million altcoins went to zero in 2025, according to CoinGecko. So yeah, when you have that many coming in, it's not. There's no way you can put money into everything and have that euphoria top. It's too diluted now. So he is saying that we are at complacency. Let's go over and take a look at the chart and talk about that, because I've showed you guys this before, and I'll put this on like the 2 weeks so we can like really see this here. But overall, guys, every cycle we've had this top motion in the golden pocket. Okay. And then we come down, we find support on one of the moving averages, return back for a higher low, and then down. Okay. That is exactly what we're seeing on this here. A pullback, higher low, and then down, right? And every cycle we've seen this. Like, look here. Here we go again. Looking at it here. There's our top, slightly above our golden pocket projection, by the way, but it pulls down to support, rejects, and comes back down. Okay, find support here on that 100 and then loses it. Let's go back here and look. We get up here, we get a new high, right there. Now, people could say that we did this, but then we wouldn't be on a normal 4-year cycle. We'd be on something that OC has talked about extended cycles or Bitcoin cycles, not 4-year cycles, and where we got support here on the 52 and then bounced up for a new high, then came down, did that 100 test, and did that. And that is very possible. I will not take that away from anybody that points that out because it's a trend. It's a historical pattern. We have to acknowledge it exists and that it is a possibility, although I don't think it's a probability. So what we're looking at here is what we do. We hit our golden pocket target top, which, by the way, guys, we do this every cycle. We had this in 2023 on our charts, that this was our target when we were all the way back in here. So we knew that this was the target range to hit. Every cycle it does this. It's trend-based fib extensions of the golden pocket. We lost it here. Okay, come back out of it. Lost the 52-week. Hold on the 100-week. Hold on the 100-week. Rejection and then down. This push up here, this is why we had our red box in here, is your daily dynamic reactor, your bull market support band, and your 52-week SMA. I said this is the range to watch for a rejection. This getting rejected here and continuing to the downside, guess what? We are here. So I think CryptoFace is correct. I'm not going to say 100% correct, but I think that what he's looking at here on this chart and what he's comparing on current price action to this, I think that he's got a very valid thesis, and I will allow it. We'll allow it. So good job, CryptoFace, man. Shout out to him. If you guys aren't following CryptoFace, you should be. 6-digit trader, man, and he absolutely crushes it. So not one to be questioned, in my opinion. OC, let's talk about it before we jump into the Kager. Your thoughts on this, on what we're seeing here, because this is the chart that is in play right now, or we're looking at not 4-year cycles, but Bitcoin cycles where we rally back up and then later on in 2026, after a new all-time high, then we play this out with our 52-week, the 100-week, and everything comes into play. Do you have something on your chart that you want to show with this, or you discuss it, or do you just want to talk about it here?
Let's go to the charts really quickly.
Go for it. You got it, bro.
Sorry,
we got rolling hills.
Really
we got rolling hills.
Sorry for that. So we have something that is called a flat possible bearish continuation, right? So it's not something that I'm just pulling out of my sleeve, just so you guys know. All right, but let's take a look at one of the most
pulling it out of his pendejo.
That kind of makes sense. but let me correct you there. You call me an asshole, all right? But it's not literal translation, but still a good one. So extra points for you, my friend. Really appreciate it. By the way, just as Alex mentioned, if you don't insult your friends, are they even your friends?
Right?
Yes,
right. That's why. Right. That is why Dutch is friends with everybody. That's how you know he's friends with everybody, because he insults everyone. Same with Eric Wallen. Although Eric Wallen never insults me, so I don't know. Maybe we're not friends. Anyway, what you got?
Oh, dude, I'm literally crying. All right, so let's go for one of the flat pots of bearish continuation. We also have flat pots of bullish continuation, but one of the most popular ones are the uprising channels that tend to be read as bear flags, right? So, like, for example, in here, or in here, or most factual here, where you see that upwards channel to the upside, all right? So this kind of movement. Let's now go really quickly out of on the charts, right? And first of all, this is, I believe, what CryptoFace is looking, right? We lost the trend channel, we lost the trend, right? And right now, look at the pole and look at the size or the movement on that little flag, right? So, do you have a flag or not, right? So
do you have a flag?
Exactly. And this is curling back up, right? So this is curling back up. This is the part that is actually getting me a little bit concerned, right? Because previously they all point out either sideways or slightly downwards, all right? And that usually tends to create a wedge that it's bullish. All right, having that out of the way, let's go back into the daily really quickly. All right, and a pipe risk, I would say, completely on point. This is not about if we are there or here, all right? It's how much of a change we have. Remember that Bitcoin is an growing asset, all right? That's very, very, very important to understand because we still see liquidity jump in here and not that much liquidity jumping out. And I want to also address Piano Maribi because I do want to debate him a little bit on what do I see some different perspective, but we're not there yet. So let me bring up first things that where we are yet, right? So this is a possible reversal, right? And remember, I've said many times that I thought that we were right there on the range breakout and we have broken. Based on this structure, which is slightly different, right, from this other one, which had a spring. We don't have that spring, all right? Just so you know. So just based on this, I'm thinking that if we have a bounce back up, we're going to get an actual rally to the 110, 107 here, which still lines up for breakout retest, downwards continuation, making a lower high, right? And then going downwards. The only thing that matters in here is going to be market cap versus interest in the market. Because interest in the asset, because the interest on the asset makes the market cap growth. That's the only thing that makes an asset grow. Both there, how much is it of that asset and how much people paid for that asset or wants that asset. That's it. That's it, right? And you can throw anything at it, but if we start seeing lack of money flowing out and more money flowing in, stable market cap, well, we have a greater price of Bitcoin, right? So having said that, maybe I just went too nerdy in here. Long story short, we are ranging here. If we're able to break above dynamic rector, we have a real chance to first hit the 108, and then we break back inside 108, and we hit the 115, and we hold it, as Piper mentioned. And I believe you, Piper, you have a something very important in that area. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's a fib. If we hold that part, that will be telling me that we still have the enough market cap to go through the bearish hands, which is going to then pump even higher for an extended cycle, 2026 cycle. All right. So if we fail the support at 85, don't worry. If we fail the support at 85 or 79, that's it. That's it. We are in the bear market. But and the 4-year cycle still being the same 4-year cycle, right?
Told you, hold that trade.
Let's go.
Told ya.
Let's get it. Nice. All right, so looking to actually close that trade partially, as Piper mentioned, and that is because I want to prevent everything. Remember, like before, let me just touch back on that trade really quickly before I pass it over to you. But remember that we don't play on what if, we play on facts, right? And the fact is that we're getting to a support VRVP area. It's not the actual POC, right? But we're not there yet. So I'm going to be taking maybe 25% out and then the next 25% out in here. Why? Because of how small my trade is. Remember, it is $150. It's not a huge trade, all right? And that is because I already have taken some out. So that's basically it. I'm going to keep writing it and adding it as we have a rebound to the upside and rejection. I'm going to add to my winners and cut the losses.
That's right. Feed the winners, man. Feed the winners. Alex, though, shout out to Alex, though, Crypto, man. I hope you're doing great on your little holiday, seeing your family, man. Shout out to Nano. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you stopping by. All right, let's go take a look at, we got something to talk about. You talked about Piano Matabi and the Kager. So we're going to talk about the Kager real fast. And I want you guys to watch this video. And then I got a chart I'm going to show. And then we're going to show my chart. We're going to talk about what I think is happening with the Kager and what we could expect in 2029. So bear with us. We got about 10 minutes to get through this. So let's go over here. Let's play this clip. It's about a 2-minute and 30-second clip from Piano Matty B, and I think everyone needs to hear this. Link for this video is down below. You guys need to go watch this because I think he's bringing up some very valid points that support his thesis.
Now I understand why no one wants to talk about this because it's brutal. Perhaps the worst news for Bitcoin holders since its inception. But we have to talk about it. I'm going to break it down super fast and make it super simple. It's Bitcoin's diminishing CAGR. No one's talking about it, but basically if you take 2017 all-time high, 20K, 2021 all-time high, 69K, you have a 4-year CAGR of about 36%, which is good. I mean, not super great, but it's good and it's better than most assets in the entire world.
I'll take it.
But if you take the 2021 all-time high, 69K, and the 2025 all-time high of 126K, you get a CAGR of about 16%, which is basically a 50% haircut. So if we follow that diminishing CAGR out to 2029, assuming it receives another 50% haircut like the past 2 cycles, that would give us an 8% 4-year CAGR, which would then put the price in 2029 all-time high, mind you, of 170K.
We're going to talk about that number in a moment.
The most disappointing part of that whole price prediction, that's not the bad news. The bad news is that an 8% CAGR is now underperforming money debasement and inflation, which is, conservatively speaking, about 15%. And I would argue it's probably higher, but you get the picture. At an 8% CAGR, Bitcoin as a store of value asset is now underperforming the dollar. Not to mention the miscellaneous indexes that normies historically put their money into. So it's safe to say that once the general consensus of Bitcoin holders and hodlers realize and accept the CAGR's fallen to 8% and is now underperforming inflation and debasement. But you don't have to be a paid YouTube influencer with affiliate links reading a script to realize that you're going to need to put your wealth into something else.
All right. So, OC, let's talk about that real fast. Just your thoughts on this. And I'm going to bring up a chart here that actually I did some math, ran some numbers, and we'll talk about where I think it goes in 2028 into 2029. But your thoughts on that video, man. Are you ever going to put your money in something else besides Bitcoin? If that were the case, if it starts to get a depreciation of annual returns, does this move you out of Bitcoin, or do you hold faith in Bitcoin? What's your thoughts quickly?
Hey, am I gonna place my money somewhere else if that is the case? No. The answer is plain no, because I'm already doing that, right? I mean, that's why we're buying gold. That's why we're buying silver, right?
That's why we're investing in AI data centers.
Exactly. Rule breaking number 1 above everything. Just right, beloved of God, if you believe in God, all right? Just right, beloved of God. It's do not put all of your eggs in the same basket, right? If somebody kicks your eggs, if somebody kicks your basket, it breaks all of your eggs, right?
There you go.
So there you go. So rule number 1, right? And you need to, you want to bring that up?
Yeah. I'm just going to run through the numbers here because we got about 6 minutes. You got a class to go to, so I want to get this done before you get out of here. Bitcoin cycle CAGR decay plus the 2028 cycle projection would be 2029 top. And look, a paid content creator. I'm going to read a script. Okay. Shout out to Piano Matty B. All right, let's walk through this because the chart matters. What you're looking at here is the Bitcoin cycle CAGR decay measured from bear market lows to cycle tops. CAGR just means the annualized growth rate needed to get from the low to the high each cycle. Now, notice the pattern. 2012 was pure discovery. We hit a CAGR of around 2,300%. This phase is gone. By 2016 cycle, CAGR dropped to around 430s, actually about 428% for the CAGR. Look at 2020 cycle, we had about 190%, 191% there. And 2024 cycle came in at 107. This was a decay of 81%, 55%, 44%. So far, if our cycle was to maintain in line with 2024, which I don't know that it would, but let's just say it did, we would be looking at a 60% lows, right, for the CAGR amount. For a $70,000 bottom, meaning we hit a $70,000 bottom and then bounce, we'd be looking at about $160,000 to $287,000 top. 55K about 287, 39K 160. Let's go look at the chart because I got a chart for this specifically for this idea of how low we go and then how high we come. Okay. If this is the top in October, and this is our rejection, which we're seeing right now off of lower high, the typical bands that we reject up to go lower, and we come down to the $70,000 mark, that would be a 50% retracement. Historically, we go all the way to the platinum pocket. So this is taking into account what people say, but what about the institutional investors? Okay, cool. If we're looking at 70K here, and let's put in our 2029 cycle top here, let's click that bad boy, move this into the 50% retracement. According to this, we'd be looking at a shoot up on the next cycle because these are trend-based fibs that have happened every cycle, hence golden pockets, right? You'd be looking at 256 to 280, okay? If we go down into the golden pocket, and I'll put this in the middle, we'll do it from the center here. We'd be looking at a $200,000 to $219,000 top in the next cycle. If, and this is a big if, we do what we have done every single cycle and we return to our platinum pocket, that would be a $39,000 bottom. You'd be looking at $142,000 to $155,000. So let's discuss that CAGR real fast before we head out of here. If we're talking about a typical cycle retracement of the platinum pocket, the 786 retracement, we're actually looking at a lower number than $170,000, which means our CAGR is even lower than what Piano Matty discussed. And we know what he just discussed, what that means in comparison to inflation and debasement of the dollar. It means that you're not outperforming it anymore. If we get that golden pocket bounce, though, guys, and we go up in that level of 205 to 224, then we're outperforming that $170,000 target he talked about, and we're doing an even greater CAGR. If the institutions do exist and everyone's narrative that we don't retrace as hard this cycle as typical, then we're talking about a high side move of this at $280,000, greatly outperforming the $170,000 call that Piano Matty B made. But I think that everything that he said is built on legitimate numbers. I ran the numbers; they do match up. It's really going to be about how low do we go this cycle. OC, your thoughts on this before you head out of here, man?
Absolutely. So I think that we're going to a rabbit hole, right? Now that I'm looking into this too, I do believe that we are encasing one little spot, right? Which is kind of like a rabbit hole with its own environment. In that case, that's completely possible, and not only possible, unavoidable. But we need to understand that there's just 2 or 3 things that that simple that move the price, right? It's just how do you calculate the price of Bitcoin right now, right? How do you know the price of Bitcoin is it, right? Because like when we back in the day when we were talking about when influencers in the internet were talking about what $1 Shiba Inu, remember that?
Yep. $1
yeah.
Doge.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, that is almost unthinkable. That's because they didn't understand how an asset worked, right? Asset versus price versus liquidity, so on and so forth, right? Just bringing it back to just simple terms: market cap versus how much an asset is it's worth on the eyes of people, or use, right? On economy, but in economy chain. So the point is, if we don't get market cap growth, that's it. It's a bubble. It's going to retrace. I believe that for 2030, we might see just the beginning of that. So we have a bigger retracement, but then we're just not going to let it drop because of how financial and stable the world is at this point. That is not only adding theoretical and core value, that's also adding practical value. I mean, right now, I'm moving USDT and Bitcoin and Monero. I cannot tell more. You know what? But the point is that is way better, way faster, and more practical. That needs to be factored in, and that will cover some holes. But if we just do the perfect storm around surrounding the debasement idea or the CAGR idea, there's that looks pretty possible. But if we actually kind of bring out some other core things to it, perfect. We have big holes to fill up. But yeah, That's basically
You got to go,
what I
OC. You got to go. No, I appreciate that. That's good info. And a lot of things to watch, man. OC, I appreciate you. I know you got to get out of here and head over to Chart Prime. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this show and what OC had to say there, smash up that like button. OC, I'll let you run out of here, man. Take care, brother. All right, guys. So, yeah, really at the end of the day, I really think it's going to be a matter of how far back do we retrace this cycle. We are getting a little bit of a bounce right now on that 618 almost perfectly. For those that ever doubt my fibs, I don't know why you would. I mean, I'm just saying. It's there. The proof is in the fibs. But yeah, guys, I appreciate you guys joining us here today. We'll be back here on Monday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to break down the news, the charts, the markets, and everything. OC will be here this evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Trade Live with OC Guy. And make sure you guys, if you haven't done so, smash the like button, hit the subscribe, and hit the notification bell. You'll get notified every time we go live with any of our shows here on the Piper Academy Network. Until next time, guys, yes, X is in a worldwide outage right now, by the way. Not to be the conspiracy theorist, but people said they were going to try to shut down the platform of free speech. It's down worldwide right now. So I appreciate everybody. We will catch you guys back here Monday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you guys the news, the charts, the markets, the headlines, the compare. So you guys have knowledge, because knowledge is profit. Until next time, guys, trade safe and use some risk management. Peace, love, profits. All out.
That's the rap. Chart stack data never lie. Piper led the mission, OC in the sky. Spaghetti on the screen, but the vision stay prime. Chart prime visual signals on time. Alumni strong, we built from the grind. Lessons in the market that'll outlive time. Knowledge is profit, you know how we run. Till the next one, stay sharp, get it done.
You can't handle the truth. Emotional, damn it.
We'll see you at the next
Don't
one.
know what the fuck they're doing.
Morning market report out. 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 Out.
Boom shakalaka.
We'll see you at the next one. Morning market report out. We'll see you at the next one. Morning market report. Ow.
That was awesome, dude.
Hey, it didn't break. What else you got?